What's going on, Wrestling News CC family? Welcome back to the channel, and holy hell, do we have a story for you tonight. The WWE is still recovering from what may be the most intense, personal, and world-shaking confrontation we've seen in years. On Monday Night Raw, history unfolded before our eyes. Before we dive into this absolute chaos, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because what happened on Raw is going to change everything, and you need to be here for every single development that follows. This wasn't just wrestling. This was warfare. And we're about to break down every single moment that led to the most shocking ending Raw has delivered in years. The tribal chief Roman Reigns returned, but not as the man we once knew. He came back with a vengeance, with purpose, and with a deadly force behind him, Jacob Fatu, a savage warrior and now a confirmed soldier in a new, evolved version of the Bloodline. And standing in their way, refusing to bow, was none other than Seth "Freakin" Rollins, flanked by CM Punk and Sami Zayn, three rebels staring down an empire. This wasn't just a segment. This wasn't a match. This was a message. This was a war cry that echoed through every corner of the WWE universe and sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. Let me paint you the picture of how this night unfolded, because every single detail matters when you're witnessing the birth of what could be the greatest wrestling storyline of the decade. It started the way many legendary nights in WWE do, with chaos already in motion. Bronson Reed had the ring shaking with his devastating offense. Dominic Mysterio and Braun Breaker were stirring things up with their own brand of mayhem. Paul Heyman was lurking backstage with his phone glued to his hand, clearly orchestrating something behind the scenes. But it was the energy, something felt different, like the calm before a storm. The crowd couldn't put their finger on it, but something was coming. You could feel it through the screen, that electric tension that only happens when WWE is about to deliver something truly special. Seth Rollins entered the ring to a thunderous ovation, still the fan-favorite workhorse of Raw, and the reigning Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He's been teasing a cash-in for weeks, and tonight seemed like it might finally be the night. Rollins was in high spirits, electric, commanding the ring like the visionary he is. But then came the shift that changed everything. CM Punk's music hit and the arena erupted. Punk had been walking a line between chaos and justice for weeks, and now he was clearly aligning with Rollins. Not officially announced. Not a faction, yet. But the respect between them was visible. Two icons, both burned by the system at different points in their careers, both clawing to prove they still run the yard. The chemistry was immediate. These two legends, who had never really worked together before, seemed to understand each other on a level that transcended typical wrestling partnerships. You could see it in their body language, the way they positioned themselves, the unspoken communication between two masters of their craft. Then came Sami Zayn. The crowd exploded with recognition and approval. The underdog who exposed the Bloodline's cracks last year, the man who fought Solo Sikoa and the Usos with nothing but heart, had arrived. He slid into the ring and nodded at Rollins and Punk. There it was. A trio. Unofficial maybe. But the energy was undeniable. This wasn't just three wrestlers standing together. This was the formation of a resistance movement, three men who had been individually battling the forces of corruption and dominance in WWE, now united with a common purpose. The match that followed was madness in the best possible way. Rollins went head-to-head with Braun Breaker in a brutal back-and-forth that showcased exactly why both men are considered among the most dangerous competitors in WWE today. Breaker delivered a crushing suplex that seemed to bend the ring itself, demonstrating the raw power that has made him one of the most feared up-and-coming superstars. But Rollins, veteran that he is, weathered the storm and began to build momentum. His striking combination was crisp and devastating, each move executed with the precision of someone who has main-event WrestleMania multiple times. The crowd was on their feet, witnessing a clinic in professional wrestling excellence. CM Punk and Sami Zayn provided crucial support from ringside, not through interference, but through their presence alone. Their energy fed into Rollins' performance, creating an atmosphere where anything felt possible. The match reached its crescendo when Rollins hit his signature stomp, seemingly securing victory. The referee's hand was coming down for the 3 count when everything changed. The lights in the arena began to flicker, and an ominous feeling settled over the crowd. Then the music hit. Roman Reigns' theme song echoed through the arena, but something was different about it. Darker. More menacing. The crowd's cheers turned to a mixture of excitement and apprehension as they realized that whatever was about to happen would change everything. Roman Reigns emerged from the entrance tunnel, but he wasn't alone. Jacob Fatu walked beside him, and the sight of these 2 warriors together sent chills down the spine of every wrestling fan in attendance. This wasn't the cocky, arrogant Roman of the past. This was a focused, determined, and genuinely dangerous version of the tribal chief. The way they moved to the ring was calculated and intimidating. Roman's presence commanded attention, but Jacob Fatu's aura of barely contained violence made the entire arena feel like a powder keg waiting to explode. These weren't just wrestlers making an entrance, they were predators stalking their prey. As they reached ringside, the confrontation that followed was electric with tension. Rollins, Punk, and Zayn stood their ground in the ring, but you could see the calculation in their eyes. They were outnumbered in terms of raw power, but their combined experience and determination kept them from backing down. Roman grabbed a microphone, and when he spoke, his voice carried a weight and authority that silenced the entire arena. "You thought you could move forward without acknowledging me," he said, his eyes never leaving the 3 men in the ring. "You thought you could pretend that the head of the table had vacated his seat." The verbal exchange that followed was a masterclass in storytelling. Roman's words carried the weight of months of absence and planning. Rollins responded with the fire and passion that has made him one of WWE's most compelling performers. CM Punk's contributions were measured but deadly, each word chosen for maximum impact. Sami Zayn's responses came from the heart, representing the voice of every underdog who refuses to be intimidated. But words can only carry a confrontation so far, and everyone in the arena knew that violence was inevitable. The tension had been building for too long, and when it finally exploded, it did so with devastating consequences. The brawl that erupted was unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. This wasn't choreographed wrestling moves, this was a genuine fight between warriors who had real grievances with each other. Rollins and Roman exchanged strikes with the intensity of men settling a personal score. Jacob Fatu's involvement added an element of unpredictability and danger that kept everyone on edge. CM Punk showed why he's considered one of the best fighters in wrestling history, holding his own against impossible odds. Sami Zayn fought with the heart of someone who had everything to prove and nothing to lose. The action spilled out of the ring and throughout the arena, creating chaos that felt both dangerous and exhilarating. But the moment that will be replayed for years to come happened when Roman and Jacob Fatu managed to isolate Sami Zayn. The systematic beatdown that followed was brutal and personal, with Roman delivering message after message about respect, acknowledgement, and the consequences of defying the tribal chief. Just when it seemed like Zayn was about to suffer serious injury, Rollins and Punk fought their way through to make the save, but the damage had been done. The message had been sent. The Bloodline was back, more dangerous than ever, and they weren't interested in playing games. As Monday Night Raw went off the air, the wrestling world was left to process what they had just witnessed. Social media exploded with reactions from fans, wrestlers, and industry insiders, all trying to understand the implications of what had just unfolded. This wasn't just the return of Roman Reigns and the evolution of the Bloodline. This was the beginning of a war that could reshape the entire landscape of WWE. The alliance between Rollins, Punk, and Zayn represents something new and dangerous to the established order, while Roman and Jacob Fatu's partnership promises to bring a level of dominance that WWE hasn't seen in years. The storytelling implications are staggering. We're looking at potential feuds that could carry WWE programming for months, with each participant bringing their own unique strengths and motivations to the conflict. The personal histories, the championship implications, and the sheer star power involved make this one of the most compelling storylines in recent wrestling history. Industry veterans have already begun weighing in on the significance of this development, with many comparing it to the greatest faction wars in wrestling history. The combination of established legends and emerging stars creates a perfect storm of talent and storyline potential. As we wrap up this breakdown of one of the most significant episodes of Monday Night Raw in recent memory, it's clear that WWE has raised the stakes to an unprecedented level. The war between these two factions promises to deliver the kind of must-see television that makes wrestling appointment viewing. The questions moving forward are endless and exciting. How will this conflict escalate? What role will championships play in the ongoing war? Will other superstars be forced to choose sides? And most importantly, when these two forces collide at full strength, who will be left standing? What did you think of this explosive confrontation? Who do you think has the advantage going forward? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear all your thoughts and predictions for how this war is going to unfold. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to Wrestling News CC for more exclusive wrestling content, and ring that notification bell because this story is just getting started, and you don't want to miss a single development. Until next time, this has been Wrestling News CC, and remember, in the WWE Universe, when legends collide, history is made. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.